So thank you all so much for joining in on time. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Lovely to see you all here. I think we are 71 participants. Just a thumbs up if you can hear me clearly so that I know that I'm not speaking to myself. Thumbs up if you can hear me. Great, 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 great. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you all so much. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I'd like to officially welcome you to International Girls in ICT Day 2026, brought to you by Mobi Girls. Lovely to see you all here. I know we both have gentlemen and ladies are celebrating this day with us. So just to thank you so much all for being here on time, we would like to officially kickstart our webinar. It's going to be a really thrilling, fun, engaging, and insightful webinar. So please be prepared. Have a notebook, have a notepad open because some gems will be dropped from our amazing speakers. So allow me to share my screen so that I can just take you through what we need to expect today, and so that you can know who is also joining us. Sorry. So let me just share my screen and then I will take you through our day. So at any point, in case I am breaking, in case there's an issue, please feel free to let me know on the chats. So what we will have today, let me just go through our program. So I will be doing the welcoming and opening remarks. I'll introduce myself as well. And then we'll have a bit of intro from my co-moderator and co-host as well. We shall be again then delving into our very amazing webinar. I'll just be doing a very brief of who Mobi Girls is. Some of you know us, some don't. And then I shall be welcoming our amazing keynote speaker, Philomena, who will be starting off this particular webinar. And then we'll go to a fun game and tech trivia just to liven us up and make sure that we are ready to kickstart this webinar. And then we'll go to the actual flesh of this webinar, our panel discussion. Today we have 5 amazing women who are in different fields in tech. So from cloud security to AI engineering to machine learning to cybersecurity, name it, we have it. So we are really glad to have these amazing women with us. And then we'll have a Q&A session. So I know most of you or some of you have questions for different industry leaders in the different spaces they're in. So whether you want to know more about software engineering, about Android development, about cloud, they are here to answer your questions. And then we'll be doing a vote of thanks and closing remarks. And because this is virtual and we're not all able to meet, we'll be having a group photo, just one photo where we request you to open your camera so that you can actually remember this day. So this will be, a short and sweet webinar, but please feel free to engage. We have a Q&A chat box that will allow you to also ask your questions. In case you want to ask by your audio, we'll be giving you a chance just before we end as well. But this will be very fun. So let's officially kickstart this. As a way of introduction, my name is Claire Karani. I am the Corporate Trainings and Programs Manager here at Immobilis. And one of the programs that I lead and manage is the Mobi Girls program that is very dear and close to my heart, because what as Mobi Girls we do is try to empower more young women to uptake STEM courses. It's no lie that in terms of STEM courses, there are normally less women. So as Mobi Girls, we do our best to do webinars, to do events, activities, and activities that can help mentor more young women. So these activities and events that we do is absolutely no charge to these participants, because we know that a lot of the women, especially in marginalized communities, would like the opportunity to understand how tech works. So be it cloud, software engineering, cybersecurity, but because of financial constraints, they're not able to. So how we come in as Mobi Girls is look for grants to help these young women. And in 2023, we were actually recognized the World Summit of Information Society Forum, where we won an award under the category of enabling environment. And this also really affirmed our steps in what we do as Mobi Girls to support more young women. So we're also very inclusive. When we have such webinars, we don't leave the men out because we believe that they could also benefit from such engaging and lively conversations. So in this webinar, I know we are going to be joined by a few gentlemen. So please feel free, learn, engage, ask questions, and all. So from time to time, we do such webinars. We have done IUI UX Masterclass. We have done International Girls in ICT Day webinars since 2020. We've also hosted technical recruiter panel sessions where we invite technical recruiters to talk to our ladies, our community, on how to actually prepare for technical interviews. So over the past few years, we've done amazing things, and we are really glad you could join us in this. In case you would like to join our community, we will be sharing a link where we also post amazing news. If there are any job opportunities, internships that we also have, we also post there. So just to start us off, we would like you to please ensure you're using your full names as you're joining in, just so that we address you by your name in case there's anything we need to address you by. Please ensure your microphone is muted so that we can also be able to hear our speakers quite clearly, our panelists quite clearly. Utilize the chat feature in case you have any questions. So what I'd also like to do is, because I know we are 90, if I'm not wrong right now, please introduce yourself in the chat section. Tell us your name, tell us where you're joining us from, and probably your field. So if you're not even in tech, please just tell us where you're joining us from and your field of expertise. This also, we want it to be a way of networking. So we want to get to know you. So please start introducing yourself on the chat section. We might not get an opportunity for each and every single person to do so on mic because of the numbers that we currently have. We're already at 100. We truly thank God. So please introduce yourself on the chat section. Name, where you're joining us from, and your field of expertise. You never know. This is where we network. We get someone who can work with, can get here, your next employee, your next boss, etc. And then I would also like to invite Mary Joy to start us off officially with a word of prayer so that now we can, get things started. So Mary Joy, are you here with us so that we can get started? So please just unmute yourself, Mary Joy, if you can hear me, or raise your hand so that I can unmute you. Mary Joy, are you here with us? Okay, if Mary Joy is not here with us, can we get a volunteer who would love to pray for us so that we can just kickstart our webinar? Okay, Terry-Ann, go ahead. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Muriithi. I'm a student at the Cooperative University of Kenya, and I'm so excited to be here. So let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you this time. We praise you, we honor your holy name, O God, for we've had another day, O God, Lord. Father, Lord, may you always be praised, may you be honored always, Father God. Father, Lord, as we start this meeting, give us, O Jehovah, may we learn one or two, O God, and may your name be praised through this work, O Jehovah. Father, Lord, I ask you to bless the facilitator and everyone who has gotten to join the meeting. May we gain something, O God, and may it be of help, O Lord God. And at the end of this, Jehovah, may your name be praised, O God, through the work of our hands, O God. It is in that prayer we pray, trusting and believing. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Terry-Ann, for that prayer. We truly, truly appreciate. I'd just like to shout out you guys who are introducing yourselves on the chat, and then I'll have my co-host and moderator, Jamie and Wendy, introduce themselves. So thank you so much. I'm seeing Mary, Grace, Harriet, Ijai, Lucy, Samuel, Barbara, Eunice, Emma, Jean, Beryl, Nelly, Bernadette, Consolata, Clarice, Ochieng, Consolata, Metrine, Johannes, Caroline, Consolata, Lavin, Rebecca, Ibrahim. Thank you, Joylene. Thank you all so much for introducing yourselves. Please let's continue to do so. I can already see guys putting their email address and phone number, networking at its best. So let's continue. Thank you so much for introducing yourselves. I'd like to also invite my co-host and also co-moderator. I'll start off with Wendy, and then I'll move on to Jamie to introduce themselves, just so that you can get to know some of the staff who are here. I'm not doing this alone. I'm supported by a very, very great team. So if you, Wendy, you can hear me, please just introduce yourself, sorry, so that our participants and our lovely audience can get to know you.
Hi everyone, I hope you can all hear me. I'm so happy you've joined in great numbers. My name is Wendy Nanjunia. I'll be co-hosting alongside Claire, and I'm looking forward to a very fun session and engaging session and a lot of information as well. I'll be brief so that I don't take much time. Let's have fun. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wendy. We appreciate that. Jamie, if you're on the call as well, please introduce yourself. Jamie, are you here with us? Okay. So as Jamie prepares herself, we would really like you to also share the gems that you're learning today on our various social media handles. So we have Mobi Girls. As you can see, we'll also be posting this on the chat so that you can get to copy paste it. So we are Mobi Girls everywhere on X, on Instagram, and on Facebook. Our hashtags for today are Girls in ICT Day 2026, Women in Tech, and Mobi Girls. We would really like you to share some of the things that you learn with people online so that they can also get to know more about Mobi Girls community and as well as what we will be learning from our speakers today. So please feel free to share. Please feel free to tag us. We will really, really appreciate. So as per our very exciting day, today we are joined by 5 amazing speakers. As we go along, you'll see why I keep on insisting. They're really amazing. So we would like to first start off with our first speaker who will be taking us through our keynote speech. And I would like to do an introduction for her. So we are joined by the amazing Philomena Mbura, who is an AI engineer and a data scientist with a strong foundation in building intelligent and data-driven systems. So she has worked across the full AI lifecycle from data collection and pre-processing to model development to deployment and optimization, delivering predictive models, recommendation systems, and scalable pipelines across industries. So beyond her work, her technical work, she's also passionate. She's a passionate community builder who grew Women in Data Nairobi from 0 members to 1,000 plus members and has delivered over 30 speaking sessions on global platforms. So she's actively contributes to WIPS, to Google Women Tech Makers and Zindi, and she was named Most Impactful Ambassador in 2023. She holds a Master's of Science in Engineering AI from Carnegie Mellon University. Hope I don't butcher that. So this is going to be our first speaker for the day. Our theme, or what I forgot to mention, the theme for International Girls in ICT Day 2026 is AI for Development. So I believe this is a very timely discussion, being that we have an AI engineer and a data scientist. So please, let's do some reactions. Let's celebrate Philomena, clap, celebrate as we welcome her to do her keynote speech. She will be taking us through and she'll be now warming us up for the panel discussion that we'll be having in a few. So let's all please kindly welcome Philomena with claps, nderemo, shangwe. Let's make her feel welcome, guys. Yay, karibu sana Philomena. Let me just spotlight you so that our participants can see you. In case you have anything to share, feel free to do so as well.
All right, cool. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Actually, I have a fun fact before I start. When I was getting into tech, which was around like 8 years ago, I didn't even know how to install any ID or, any basis of anything in tech. And the first person that I was connected to was actually somebody who was working at Immobilis. And I came to Immobilis' office and he helped me install everything and walked me through everything. I was asking the most dumb questions, like looking back. And so this feels like a full circle moment actually when I'm now coming back to actually give a session. So yeah, thank you for having me. Let me just share my screen. Okay, cool. You can see my screen.
Yes, we can. You can go ahead.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to keep this session as general as possible because I can see there's very diverse expertise levels represented in this session. So basically start by exploring what the topic is about. So it's AI for real world development challenges. So AI for development is usually just a very small branch in AI where we're talking about how we can use AI for good, whether it's in terms of improving social, human, economic development across different fields. So in this session, we're just going to explore how we can be able to tackle some of these real world challenges at a very shallow level. But given it's just a 15-minute session, maybe we can explore this further in future sessions. So the agenda for today is going to be, let me just minimize this. So we're going to explore what is AI at a very basic level. So demystifying what it is and showing that it's actually something that we already use currently in our everyday lives. I know a lot of people are exposed to ChatGPT and will say AI is ChatGPT or maybe Gemini, but AI goes beyond all of these things. It's in some of these small things that we use every day that we might not necessarily know that it's AI or data as a whole. We'll explore AI in action, so real world use cases and how we're applying AI in various sectors. We'll look at the gap and why you matter, so why women's voices in AI will be able to change everything, given that this is a session that we're exploring. It's an Girls in ICT Day, so we want to also look at how women can play a part in this. Your role, the pathways and resources, and your call to action, and how you can be able to be a part of all this AI world revolution things that is currently going on. So in general, so we're going to start with what is AI really? So AI is a simulation of human intelligence by computer systems, enabling machines to learn, reason, and make decisions. So at the end of the day, what you want to do is teach that basic machine, whether it's your phone or that edge device, your computer, how to be able to make a decision that is currently mimicking what a human would ideally do in the same situation. But now AI encompasses everything. If you remember, maybe high school, the Venn diagram, the circles that you draw. So AI is the whole that encompasses everything under data, even rule-based systems. If you're using machine learning, deep learning, NLP, computer vision, they're all under AI. Then now you go into like a smaller branch where we have machine learning, where it's now you're using data to teach a system how to make a decision without explicitly programming it on how to do it. So why machine learning is different from maybe another way people program a system to do is you're actually using data, previous historical data, to teach the machine the different patterns so that can be able to understand and make a decision based on the patterns it was able to understand previously. And there's an echo. I'm not sure where the echo is coming from. But if you're unmuted, please mute. Um, now you're mimicking the neurons in the human brain, and now you're trying to mimic how it is able to make decisions. So it's not usually as clear as what machine learning would be. Deep learning is more like, it becomes more of like they call it like a black hole or something, where it's able to understand the different patterns and make different decisions, but then you're not necessarily able to clearly depict how it was able to make that decisions, but there are various ways you can be able to kind of dial back and see how it's able to make some of these decisions. Then we have NLP. This is where things like ChatGPT fall into place. So you're enabling a machine to understand, interpret, and generate human language. And then computer vision is just where you're teaching a machine how to interpret visually. So you're teaching how a machine how to have eyes without actually having eyes. So it's able to tell you maybe this is a cat, this is a dog, etc. Just by learning the same patterns. All this is learning from the different patterns that we have in our data. So you already use AI every day, maybe in ways that you don't quite explicitly know that you do right now. So for example, when you're typing on your phone and it gives you a suggestion of the next word, that's basically AI. It has learned your patterns or even general patterns out there. So we have the data that it's been trained on out there, given that it's an edge device. And then now we have the data that it's going to learn from you. So it knows maybe after you say good, you also say morning. And maybe there's a particular person that you say good morning to every day, and it's going to suggest to you the name of the person that you say good morning to every day instead of you having to type it. You have Netflix, YouTube recommendations where it's able to learn your interests, and it's able to learn even the interests of the people that you're connected to and the people you share some of these resources. And even on Instagram, the person you share memes with, it kind of draws and learns that you guys have this type of humor, you guys love this type of content, and now it is able to generate content that's tailored to what you like to see and what you're interested in. Can either be good, can be bad, because you can either end up with the recommendations that are very biased towards how you view the world, but also at the end of the day, it gives you the things that are tailored to what you want to see. So it can also be viewed as a good thing. You have the Google Maps navigation systems. I'm sure most of you have been at a place where you don't know where you are. And the easiest thing we all do right now, you're not even asking anybody for directions. You just switch on your phone, go to Google Maps, put the pin of the place that you're going, and now you turn left, right, till you get to your destination. And it's actually made things a lot easier for us. You have online shopping suggestions, which is very similar to the Netflix and YouTube recommendations. So you have this, you're interested in shoes. All of a sudden, your algorithm is showing you shoes on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, whatever. And you're able to actually be connected to the things that you actually want to see. And it gives you a vast variety of information around the topic that you're interested in at that particular time. Face unlock and face tagging, iOS people face unlock. Language translation, which is something which is very interesting when you're going to different countries. You can very easily navigate and understand and talk to people. You just need to translate what they're saying. You can even consume content that's written in a different language. You can watch movies spoken in a different language and use language translation just to give you the caption, different things applied across different sectors. Down to our topic of the day. So why we need AI for development. So as I mentioned, AI development is basically very centered around human and development and bringing about that growth. So AI for development means using AI intentionally to improve human well-being, inclusion, and long-term progress. So it's not just for profit or just mere automation. So I'm going to highlight maybe just 4 areas that kind of expound on why we would need this for development at this point in time, how it would make things easier for us in terms of making progress faster and more efficient, because AI is all about making things more efficient and faster and not necessarily replacing the human. So problems are too big for traditional tools alone. So we have things like diseases, food shortages, illiteracy, which is affecting a lot of people globally. So AI can analyze very vast data sets, might be very difficult for a human to do, identify the patterns and deliver solutions faster and at scale that a human capacity alone cannot be able to match. So also AI reaches where services necessarily cannot. So we have very remote communities that may lack doctors, teachers, financial systems. Another way we can use AI is being able to use maybe offline devices or something to be able to tackle some of those challenges, which I'll expound on how they're currently being tackled at a shallow level in the next slide. So AI-powered tools on basic smartphones bring about expert-level diagnosis, personalized learning, credit access to people with no physical infrastructure in those remote communities. AI personalizes at a massive scale. One teacher may not be able to adapt to 40 different learning styles, especially where we have geography limitations. We have even online classes that are currently happening, right? So one doctor may not be able to monitor thousands of patients daily and at the same time. So what AI can do is support this different fields to tailor every interaction and make it more individual, making services equitable in these areas and not just available, such that it actually helps you to be faster in making those decisions and reach more people. And at the end of the day, some of these fields are very sensitive and still need a human at the back of the system, but it's not here to replace, it's here to make you more efficient, and it's here to make you faster and be able to actually create more impact by leveraging on some of these tools. Accelerate solutions to decade-old problems. So we have things like hunger, preventable diseases, and financial exclusion, which have been there for a lot of generations. So AI is able to tackle some of these challenges. It does not replace the human effort. It supercharges it, compressing it into the decades of progress, data, and everything collected, put together, learns the patterns, and it's able to make some of these decisions on behalf of the human. Some of the key fields that AI can be applied to, and it's not limited to just these fields. These are just some of the interesting fields that I have come across over the years. So in healthcare, we have machine learning models detecting malaria and TB from even just something as basic as a smartphone photo, and there's no specialist needed at the end of the day. But some of these fields are very sensitive, and you probably need a human at the end of the day to verify some of these things, unless your model is highly accurate. Agriculture, AI crop disease detection, which has been there for a very long time. You're able to just take a picture of your crops, and maybe they're turning yellow, they're turning brown or something. You take a photo, it's able to tell you the recommendation on maybe the disease that's there, and you're able and recommend maybe like a pesticide or herbicide. I don't know, herbicide? Yes, herbicide that you can be able to apply to be able to, help your crops. We have education. We've talked about this, adaptive AI tutors, personalizing learning, especially when there's the barriers like the local languages, and it's able to be deployed on very low cost devices. We have climate and water, predictive models forecasting floods, droughts, weeks in advance. It can be used at country levels, at individual levels. You can use this to even make decisions on what you're going to plant, when you're going to plant, areas of location of building, things like those. It can be used diversely. It's not limited to any of the use cases that are here. Financial inclusion, AI credit scoring, unlocking microloans for billions of people with no credit history. This was a very big challenge prior to AI and data and all these things. So a lot of people were not able to get loans just because of the mere fact maybe they did not have the credit cards. But then now we have people who are analyzing data that goes beyond even those credit cards. We have your M-Pesa transactions and other things that can be used to identify whether you're somebody who can be able to repay your loan or not. Basically, you're not limited to the old model of credit scoring. You're looking into different ways where you can use AI to do the credit scoring and make that recommendation on behalf of the person who's going to give you the loan. We have language access, NLP tools making AI work in African languages for the first time. which is actually a pretty big breakthrough, to be honest. If you're able to now even type on ChatGPT and it can talk to you in Swahili, maybe even your own local dialect, like your mother tongue or something. I actually have never tried, but I hear that it is possible, and I've seen it work in other fields as well, on other tools rather. Some of the real tools that are there and actually creating real impact in the current field. We have a company called Zipline, which is under the health sector, where they use AI drones to deliver blood and medicine to remote clinics. We have a company called Ubenwa, where they use AI to detect birth asphyxia from a baby's cry in about 10 seconds, which is pretty efficient, and it went unnoticed a lot previously before this. Apollo Agriculture, which is under Agritech, using ML to give smallholder farmers credit and agronomic advice. We have a company called Plant Village Nuru, which is under Agritech as well, which is used to look at the disease diagnosis for plants. We have Masakane, which is under language, and it's used by the researchers in building NLP tools for across the different languages, which has been very big on this. I think it's arguably one of the biggest when it comes to African languages and NLP. We have Lelapa AI, which is an AI that speaks Zulu, Seto, Afrikaans, and more. This is from South Africa, but then there are other countries as well that have their own and other tools that are specific to other different languages. And it's still growing and a growing field. I would encourage you to look into it. You never know. Maybe you might build a next tool for us. So why is AI for development hard and what makes it worth doing? So for example, we have infrastructure gaps. That's one thing that makes it hard. How we can be able to tackle it at a very basic level, and it can go beyond this, is using offline fast AI models and edge computing, so that it can be able to work on devices that don't necessarily have internet. So if you are creating a model that is able to make a diagnosis on something, make it such that if it goes into the remote area, that person may not necessarily require the internet to be able to use the model, such that the data has been deployed on that edge device and it can be able to make that decision. Some of the challenges with that is maybe the updates and stuff, but those are things that can be tackled along the way as we continue to improve. We have data poverty, which is another challenge. Data has been a huge challenge, especially in Africa and underrepresented community, where we don't have data sets that represent the decisions that we want to make in the local aspect. We have a lot of Western data, but then the challenges are not necessarily our challenges. And even if they are, the data doesn't necessarily reflect our data and how we would react in different situations, how we react to a different disease. Their climate is not the same. We need data that represents our current environment, and it is very specific to the challenges that we currently have, so that we can be able to make the right decisions for even our people in the local setup. We have algorithmic bias. This largely comes from the data as well, but then also it can come from the angle where we don't have the people building it are also not diverse. So the data poverty plays a part into this, but also if you don't have a diverse set of people who are building some of these models, then the model is not going to be representative of whatever we're trying to solve, because at the end of the day, they may not necessarily understand the challenges. And that's why it's better for you, wherever you are, you can be able to build that model, and it can be the thing that actually solves that problem in your local setup that not necessarily exist in another setup. So diverse builders is equals to fairer models, because you're able to understand those gaps and be able to fill it even before you deploy that model. There's also the challenge of cost and access. So what we can be able to do is have open source AI, low bandwidth tools, and community tech hubs that are able to actually change this very fast. There's a lot of support that is here that is able to give you that backing to be able to build some of these things when you may not be exposed to the resources and don't have the resources. It also requires a lot of wisdom in how you go about this, so that you actually are able to maintain the authenticity of your idea and have your idea. But there are people who are ready to support you, and there are hubs that are there to support you. Just looking to make sure you get into this community so that you can be able to expose to some of these things. So generally, the opportunity that exists is that you build AI tools that are designed for real Africans, other underrepresented contexts. And you can also be the voice that makes AI fairer for all. It's not up to somebody else. It's not up to other people. You, at your own capacity, can be able to make that change and make all these things representative. Don't ever think that you are not able to make that change. Like, you are capable of making the change, no matter how small it is. It becomes a ripple effect. Yeah, so the world doesn't need AI built for a few. It needs AI built for everyone, including you. Given that this is a women's session, we also want to say that women are part of the digital future. We're not waiting to be included. We're building the systems, writing the algorithms, and shaping the policies that define the next century of human progress. You're not less than because you're a woman. You don't have less capabilities. You very much have the ability to create some of the systems. You just need to believe in yourself and get into the right spaces and keep pushing. So you as a woman, how can you break the barriers for women in tech, for yourself, and also for the people who are coming after you? So one of the things that you can tackle is imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is whereby you feel like you do not belong in the field, you feel like you're an imposter, and people will find out that you're a fraud and that you cannot do it, you do not belong in the room. But actually, arguably, I think imposter syndrome can be viewed as a very positive thing, in that imposter syndrome helps you to get out of your comfort zone and actually learn. The best way to overcome imposter syndrome is by building the skills and solidifying and filling your knowledge gaps. And at the end of the day, as you keep pushing, the imposter syndrome lessens. But then if you continue to stay in this headspace where you feel like you do not belong and you actually get pull away from the room, then you're not going to make the progress. And as long as you put your mind into something, you're going to be able to actually achieve it. So even you, your presence in this field, there's a lot of women who are represented here. You, just by virtue of being there, encourages another lady somewhere that it's actually possible that they can be there too. And there's a lot of communities that exist where you will not feel alone. There's Google Women Tech Makers, Women in Data, there's Mobi Girls, among other communities. You just need to have the will to actually reach out and be there. You can access mentorship through even some of these communities and beyond. For example, the example I gave at the beginning, when I came to Immobilis, I did not know anybody. I didn't even know the person I was coming to meet. I met them that day that I was coming, and they were able to mentor me, especially in the beginning stages, just to know where to begin. You can also be the mentor that you needed. When you get those skills, there's always somebody behind you who you can hold their hand. After you learn things, you're able to share some of these things. Also, to overcome the bias in the tech spaces, you can document, advocate, lead. Your voice in the room makes a product work better for everyone. As we had expanded before, just your presence in the room and building this product reduces the bias because you're able to identify some of these biases that already exist. Skills gap and resources. There's a lot of free resources that exist, and you can also be the person who's making those free resources. We also have one of the speakers here, so Jackie. She is very big on making a lot of technical content, which is very free. You can also be the same person who's making that free technical content to help that other person who's getting into the field, not necessarily a woman, but also the woman being that, supporting that woman in that field. So how you can start your AI journey. Stay curious, learn, start with the basics, try to follow a general general format, like you're moving from A to B, so that you're not stuck in the tutorial cycle where you're trying out A, B, C, D. Try out A, finish A, build with A, build on an actual problem. Connect to different communities that are here. They're vast. They're not limited to just the women communities that we've shared. There are also general communities which are very helpful. And then lead, mentor others, speak up, shape the field. You're not limited. You might be the one who's actually speaking the next few years, just by virtue of you being able to push through and push through past some of these challenges that may limit you because maybe you're a woman, or even just because it's a new field. Your future in AI, as we're talking about AI for development, you can be the builder. You can be the one who's actually building some of these models, and you can look at the technical things that you need to learn, like Python, TensorFlow, PyTorch, MLOps. Or you can be the leader who's actually talking about the strategy behind some of these things, the policies, and how you can create AI ethics around some of these things, because it's much needed given that it's a new field and we're still learning how to navigate around some of these things. So you getting behind and getting in tune with some of these policies can be able to shape the future for other people who are coming into AI, so that you're defining some of these strategies and you're also communicating it to other people. You can be the researcher who's actually going beyond the things that actually exist, and you're asking yourself, there's this new concept we can explore, there's this new thing that we can actually build. You're pushing the frontiers of what AI can actually do, because it was how far we've gotten. It's somebody who's asked themselves this question. So you can also be the person who's asking themselves this question, and you're developing and coming up with new ways to make even some of these systems more efficient. Yeah. So AI is a field that you cannot exist in without having soft skills, because you're never working independently. You're always working with a team. That means you'll never have domain knowledge across everything, and you're expected to work in various domains. So your soft skills are the ones which will keep you at a job, because you can get the technical skills that are required, but you're not able to articulate yourself well. So some of the things that you need in terms of soft skills is your communication. You need to be able to communicate with other people, especially with the non-technical people, because your tool, your model will be used by people who are not as technical as you, and you need to articulate how those decisions are being made. If it's that AI for development tool, maybe around agri-tech you're building, and it's doing the disease detection, you need to be explaining to the different stakeholders that are involved how that decision is coming about, the limitations that exist, and how maybe even the risks that exist with your system, and be able to articulate this very well in a way that they can see the use, but also understand that AI is not a human at the end of the day. You need to have critical thinking. It needs you to ask yourself very interesting questions. Spotting bias, like it's not going to always be very direct. You actually need to ask yourself very hard questions. Think outside the box. Collaboration, you're working across teams. You're never working alone in AI. You need to be able to communicate with people, have empathy, create that safety around the different teams, so that people can be able to work with you very well. You need to be very adaptable, because you're never going to be working in just one field. Today, you're working in agri-tech, tomorrow, you're working in health, because it's your skills that are being honed in these different fields, and they're applicable and very transferable across fields. But it's very rare that you'll be working in one field for the rest of your life just because you're in AI. And at the end of the day, the most impactful AI practitioners are the ones who actually put the human first, and not the money or, the other things first. So this is actually my last slide as I conclude. You belong in tech, your voice matters, go build a future. And every expert was actually once a beginner. This is something that I like to say in almost all my talks. You start somewhere. That one line of code, no one was born knowing what data is. No one was born knowing what a variable is. We all learned. Even the person that you're seeing, they're very good out there, they started from somewhere. You just have to be very comfortable with being the person in the room who does not know, and the person who's asking those questions. Like I said at the beginning, looking back, I feel like I was asking that first mentor at Immobilis very dumb questions. But at that time, I was very willing to look down. Like, I don't know what an ID is. Tell me what an ID is. What do I need to, how do I type? How do I download? I literally knew nothing. And now look at where in the next few years, you're at a point where you're actually mentoring other people. So every expert was once a beginner. You just need to start. You belong here. Your voice matters. The future is yours. And there's my contact details in case you'd like to email me. You can reach me through that email, and you can also reach out to me via LinkedIn. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Philomena. Please let's appreciate, celebrate, and really thank her. Let's get some reactions. She's really done a great job in terms of setting the pace for this webinar because that is exactly what we needed. Thank you so much, Philomena. It's encouraging to know that you started here, coming to Immobilis, getting the assistance you need, and now you are a keynote speaker telling us about AI. Truly, every expert was once a beginner. You have really shown us that. So even for our audience here, those who are beginners, those who are maybe even transitioning into tech, this is encouragement you needed. Like she has said it perfectly. We couldn't even add anything to it. So thank you so much, Philomena. We appreciate you and for that really, really amazing keynote speech. I know we have some questions here and there. There will be time for questions. But in case there is any burning, for sure, we have a Q&A chat box, and you're free to ask any that you would like. Okay, I'm seeing hands up. I would like to quickly move on to the next segment because I know there will be a chance for Q&A, but I think it's Harriet. Please feel free to share your question on the chat box so that we don't miss it out. Please have it there so that we also don't miss it in the chat because there may be a lot of chat. So what I'd like to do now quickly, the questions are already coming in, and I know Philomena will also be able to answer as we go along. We would like to quickly, just a very, very quick introduction. If you are a Mobi Girls Committee member, please just have your camera on. I'd like the community to also know the activities that we do, we don't do them alone. We like to engage committee members who help us plan events, help us understand what exactly the need is. So if you're a committee member present, please have your mic on and your camera on. Just say your name and your position, and then we'll move on to the next agenda. So I'm seeing Joylene here. So yeah, you can go ahead. Just say your name and your position, and then we can move on to the next, kindly.
Hello, my name is Jenny. I'm outreach deputy and Mobile Girls Committee. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jaylene. Next, just feel free to go ahead and introduce yourself. Next person.
Hi, my name is Joy Beth. I'm the vice chairperson for Mobi Girls Committee.
Thank you very much, Joy. Next.
Hello, my name is Leah. I'm also the vice chairperson in committee Mobi Girls. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Leah. Next, we have.
Hi, my name is
Hello.
Joy Linda.
We lost you, Joy, after you said Joy and Linda, but okay.
I said that I'm the secretary in the Mobi Girls Committee.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Next, anyone else? Don't want to leave you guys out. Next,
Hi.
anyone? Hi.
My name is Mary Joy Gashero. I'm the membership lead, Mobi Girls Committee.
Great, thank you so much. Jamie, sorry, kindly just mute your mic once you're done talking. Jamie, you're on my screen. You can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi everyone. So Amy, I'm dealing with the organization in the Mobi Girls. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I think Audrey Ann. Or who else is okay?
I'm Audrey Ann Chirito. I'm the
We might not have heard you clearly, but next we have who else?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
Hello, Yvonne. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey.
Okay. Anyone else, Alisa? And then we can wind up and move on to the next task. Okay,
Hi,
Wendy.
I'm Alisa Njoroge. I'm the outreach lead for People Committee.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. Last but not least, who else do we have? Wendy and Patience. Those are our last two.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Deputy Organizing Team.
Thank you. And last but not least.
Hi.
Yes, go ahead, Wendy.
Hi. Hi. I'm Wendy Kimani, in charge of engagement and content.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, our committee members. So those are just some of our lovely ladies who help us in terms of the events and activities that we have. I can see some of you are asking, how can I be part of this great team? So we'll be sharing a link. If you want to join the community, the larger community, we will be sharing that just before we close this. I'd like to now move on to the very next exciting activity before we invite our very amazing, very capable, very enlightening panel. We want to have a bit of an icebreaker, a tech trivia and fun game. We shall be having something to just jog our minds a bit before we move on to the flesh of this webinar. So I will be inviting our very capable co-host, Wendy, to take us through a bit of a fun game. And then after that, I'll be introducing our panelists and we'll be having a panel discussion. What that means is that we'll have all our 5 speakers on. We'll be having a Q&A with them. Some of these questions that I can see that are already on the chat section are actually going to be tackled during this particular panel discussion. So without further ado, please, Wendy, take us through the next 5 or 7 minutes a game so that we can now gear up for our panelists.
Okay, thank you, Claire. This is going to be an exciting 5 minutes. For those who are sleeping or laying in bed, kindly, time for you to sit up because kuna kukimbia kidogo. So I have 3 questions and my rules, rather my rules for the game. Let me say that we have something to be won. So that is why I said those who are laying down kidogo mkae, and then you have to get the instructions accurately. So let's go. My first question would be, actually our trivia challenges are in line with our theme for this year, which is AI for development. So our first question would be, all the responses are being, you are going to type your responses in the chat box. And then since we have the AI guru in the house, she's going to pick the best answers and she's going to guide us on who we are going to award our presents. We need 3 of them. So my first question would be, if I had an AI bestie, I would use it too. That is my question. I can't see responses. If I had an AI bestie, I would use it too. Oh, fancy Magire, thank you. Oh, therapist gossip. Wow, Joybet. I see you to plan my day. I hope Philomena is looking at the responses. She's going to help us to see how best we are going to use AI in our daily lives. Claire, kindly help us record the responses so that Philomena can choose the best responses. Okay, thank you people for responding. The next question, which is very easy, of course. I need you to type, not like you're doing it, but all in one in one answer. Name 10 AI tools. The first person to finish this is going to be our winner. Name 10 AI tools. Not one, not you, Michelle, sorry. Like name 10 of them at a go. So far, hakuna mtu anapata hii pesa. Oh no. 10 AI tools at a go. Caroline, at least you're trying, but it's 3. I need them 10. 10 at a go. What? I'm sure Philomena must be wondering wherever she is. Okay, Fancy Megire. I like this. Fancy Megire. Okay. Canvas. Interesting. CapCut. Wow. Okay. Now we go to our last question. We've gotten the winner. Claire has her recorded. So our last question would be, this is very interesting. The first person who shares a picture of the sky wherever they are, and I want it as a screenshot so that we see umeipiga sahi, because it's been a while since people in the city saw how beautiful the sky is today. So the first person who shared a screenshot of a picture of the sky. Oh no, Patience, you're saying you're indoors. Sorry. Whoever can take a picture of the sky and share it, the first one gets an award. Grace Mungai, you're at work. Okay, Wale. There's no one who can share a picture of the sky. Oh, wow. Thank you. The first person has shared the photo. Claire has her. So yes, I will introduce Audrey from Moby Girls. She has a coding game. Just to briefly share the link, and then that is your entry into AI, your entry into tech for those who are interested. Welcome, Audrey. Thank you for your participation, guys.
Hello. So I had a game. It's about coding game. It's an online platform that turns programming into interactive games and challenges, letting developers practice coding, build AI bots, and compete in multiplayer contests while improving their skills. So it's both a learning tool and a competitive environment. It is widely used by programmers worldwide. So the game, so the coding game is about game-filled learning, where you're given a coding task and you're supposed to present as a puzzle or game, making practice engaging than abstract. Then the game is about programming challenges, where developers solve okay, sorry about that. Where the developers get to optimize solution or write AI bots to compete in simulated environments. Also, the game is about multiplayer contests. So the game, I can join and then I invite my friends to maybe we play or compete. Yeah. So, also it's a wide language support. Over 25 programming languages are supposed, including Python, Java, C++, JavaScript, and Rust. So the key features of the game, It has a single player puzzle, progress from beginner to advanced level, coverage, data structures, and optimization. So the game is interactive and you can actually play it alone or play it with a friend. If you want to have more knowledge in the tech field, you can actually play the game so that you may know and engage in it. Yeah, I'll send the link to the WhatsApp group. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Audrey. That was lovely. I hope we are going to make use of this coding game. Personally, I'm looking forward to doing that after the webinar. And now, I'd like Sandra Mukwambo and Sherilyn Mogire to private chat me their phone numbers. They have been the fastest, and we all know AI is all about speed. So kindly, Sandra Mukwambo and Sherilyn Mogire, share with me, private chat me your phone numbers on how you're going to get your token for your participation. Thank you so much, guys. Now let's get our pen and notebooks ready for the next session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Wendy, for that. That was quite thrilling and exciting. For the winners, congratulations to you all. Oh yeah, that is the token in terms of that game that Audrey has just explained to us. Please go find out, figure out, tinker with it and be able to do it. So now I have the great honor of introducing our really amazing panelists. So allow me to share my screen so that I can do a really good justice in introducing our phenomenal speakers. Just give me 1 minute. Yeah, so today, like I mentioned, we already have Philomena who we have met, especially during the keynote speech. So I will be introducing them and then they will be coming to the screen and then I'll be able to spotlight them. So next up, we have Pauline Geshure. So Pauline is a machine learning engineer on Safaricom's public sector team, where she designs and scales AI-driven products from feature engineering engines to ML pipelines that influence healthcare and county-level decision-making across Kenya. What sets her apart is a background as a physiotherapist, giving her a rare ground-level understanding of the systems she now works to transform. She sits at the intersection of AI, machine learning, and real-world impact, building solutions for sectors she once experienced firsthand. A lifelong learner, she's also the founder of Diary of a Techie, a community dedicated to fostering tech-driven growth and making the industry more accessible. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and a Bachelor of Science in Physical Therapy. So karibu sana, Pauline. I know you'll come on and we'll be able to spotlight you so that you can have a discussion. Our next phenomenal speaker is Lucy Kyule. Lucy is a seasoned technology leader with over 30 years of experience in the Kenyan government. She currently serves as Head of Cloud Services at the State Department of ICT and Digital Services, overseeing the Cloud Services section within the Data Center and Cloud Services Division. A certified mentor, coach, and mediator, she is equally committed to human transformation as she is to digital infrastructure. She is the founder of Beyond Ashes and Guts Beyond Couples and Ladies programs, initiatives that empowers individuals to rebuild and thrive. She also serves as the organizing secretary for WAMOS, reflecting her dedication to service and leadership beyond the technical space. Karibu sana Lucy. And we have Nancy, our phenomenal cybersecurity expert. So Nancy is an information security engineer specializing in application and network vulnerability, penetration testing, cloud security, and DevSecOps. She brings both technical depth and a commitment to education, sharing her expertise as a speaker on national and international platforms, and as a technical writer focused on practical cloud security content. As a project lead at SheHacks KE, she champions diversity and inclusion in the cybersecurity space. Her ultimate mission is to create a safer digital world, one where individuals, businesses, and communities can operate securely and confidently in an increasingly connected landscape. Karibu sana Nancy. And we have Jackie Moraa. Jackie is a software engineer and a team lead at Living Goods, where she builds scalable mobile solutions and leads high-performing teams with a strong focus on developer experience and community impact. She's recognized as a Google Developer Expert in Flutter and Dart, and a Women Tech Makers Ambassador and a Tech Women 2025 Fellow. A combination that reflects both her technical excellence and her commitment to advancing women in tech. Jackie actively mentors upcoming technologists and shares her knowledge through technical writing, conference talks, and industry collaborations. Outside of engineering, she's an avid Spanish learner and enthusiastic book collector, a pet lover, and unapologetically competitive board game player, still undefeated in Monopoly. So kindly welcome these amazing panelists that we have. If we can have them all just put them their video on so that I'm able to spotlight these amazing women. You've had their titles, you've had their profiles, their bios. They're really doing amazing things, and we are super proud of them. So let me just spotlight all of them. Give me a second, guys. Now it's Philomena and Nancy. So Nancy. Let me just. Okay, just give me a minute so that I can have Nancy on. Okay, sawa. I couldn't see you for a minute there. Okay, so are you guys able to see Nancy? On my end, I'm not able to, so I don't know if it's a problem on my end. Can you see her? No. Okay. Nancy, maybe just. Okay, Nancy, could you please try leaving the meeting and joining? Because I am not able to see you. I think I've spotlighted you, but we can't see you. So that I get that sorted out immediately. Wow, lol. Anyway, so let me. Yeah, I think we've all seen the comment. That's why we're all laughing. So anyway, Nancy, if you could kindly, if you don't mind, please try and leave the meeting and come back so that we are able to spotlight you. I think that would work better. Yeah, but without further ado, yeah, definitely small but mighty crowd. Without further ado, I would really like to invite and welcome our amazing panelists. We'll start off with introductions. So just a minute. So what we'll do is we'll have each one of them. So kindly just introduce yourself, maybe share your personal journey and experience in your area of expertise and how it has influenced your career path in the tech industry. So I'll just go as per my screen. So we have Chelagat, Pauline, Jackie, Lucy, Philomena, then Nancy. So Pauline, please take us off.
Hi everyone, hope you can hear me.
Yes.
You can hear me? Nice, good. I don't know, I think I'm so excited, but nice to meet everyone. Jackie, Philomena, Lucy, and Nancy as well. Hi, Philomena, and everyone else who's on the call. And Claire, thank you for organizing this. So, I usually introduce myself as Chelagat Pauline Geshure. I am a machine learning operations engineer. That's what I do. That's my day-to-day job. But if I didn't have a job, I'd definitely be paid to learn. So I don't know, just like absorbing things and learning different things. So that's what I'd say I am. The other thing is I love the outdoor spaces. So anytime I'm not on my computer, you'll definitely find me outside, either hiking, running, doing something outdoorsy and fun, and definitely with people. So that's me in a nutshell. I think we'll dive deeper into that. But a brief of how I got into this space. So I first came from healthcare as a physiotherapist. So I love the sciences, all sciences. That's what I love. So I started off in healthcare, which was really nice. But when COVID hit, I was like, okay, we need to re-strategize and think about what you're going to do. And that's how I came back to my love for data. I also like exploring and like digging into things. So that's how I ended up exploring the data science space and the data space. And that was the first time I was seeing code in 2020, which was very interesting. And ever since 2020, as Philomena was saying in her talk, it's just to continue learning, continue building, connecting until you get to where you're at. So I've interfaced or I've been in different data positions, and that's how I currently am in my current role, which is the intersection of AI, ML, and data with healthcare, which is, I think, for me exciting because then I get to see what Philomena was saying, real world use cases, and actually being part of the change slowly but surely. Yes. So that's it for me, Claire. I think you can move on to the next one. But yes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chelagat. We can have Jackie next.
Thank you so much, Claire. It's a pleasure to be here. This is not my first interaction with Immobilis as well. So the person who said we look young, so the next statement might really shock you. So the first time I was with Immobilis was 12 years ago. And this was when we were doing a boot camp in campus. And then 2 years ago, they invited me for a talk. So I'm happy to be back as a speaker again in 2026. My name is Jackie Moraa. I'm a software engineer. I'm a team lead at Living Goods. So Living Goods is a non-government organization where we build technology that supports community health and directly impacts on people's lives. So aside from that, I am a Google developer expert for Flutter and Dart. So I have over 6 years experience in this organization, but before that I had a couple of years experience at an auditing firm and gradually transitioned into building applications, particularly mobile applications. So Philomena also touched on this, but what has really shaped me is having a growth mindset, which basically means being open to learning, taking on challenges, and being disciplined and consistent. I believe discipline and consistency will always outshine talent at any given time. You might be born with it, but if you do not do it and practice it every single day, someone who does will definitely be miles ahead of you. So it's always about progress, not perfection. So I'll challenge you to keep doing it. And that's what has really pushed me through in this industry, which is quite fast-paced. As you know, the technology you have today is not the same one we had last year. So you have to really be adaptable and keep learning. So that's how I've been able to stay in this particular position.
Thank you so much, Jackie. Thank you for that. Glad to know you've interacted with Immobilis. And now we'll have Lucy.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's a great pleasure to be among, can I say my daughter? Yeah, because I've been in the tech space since I left high school. Yeah, I had the privilege of getting an opportunity to work in the government back then. That story for another day. So I currently work at the Cloud Services, which is situated at the State Department for ICT and Digital Economy. So my role is to drive public sector cloud adoption and to support the modernization of government digital infrastructure. So previously, I was working at Uwezo Fund as the head of ICT, and I had a great privilege to be able to head that office of the ICT person, working for a fund that was also empowered women at that time. And that is where I met the field of e-mobility. So while there, I also managed to onboard services to the e-citizen platform, of course, making it easy for us to deliver service and for the citizens to be able to get services from the government at that time. I was also privileged to work in collaboration with Huduma Center, and what we did in Huduma Center was to ensure that citizens are also able to get government services closer to where they are. Because working for the fund meant that we are dealing with people in the most remote areas. So beyond my technical roles, I'm very passionate about mentorship. I'm a certified mentor, coach, mediator, and I actively guide young people through parts of ICT, including programs like the PDTP, where I'm a mentor. I've been mentoring the young people while on internship. I've also worked with e-mobility when I was at Uwezo Fund, and I remember that we trained over 600 young people on different trainings concerning ICT and transforming youth generally and women. And what has really shaped my journey is ensuring that digital solutions truly serve citizens and create opportunities for them. And for me, what is really big is the young people and women. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lucy, for that lovely introduction. We truly appreciate. And of course, last but not least, Philomena.
Yeah, thanks. I think my fellow speakers have shared most of, what you would actually need to be able to get to the tech space, especially if you're coming from a place where you don't have any background. So personally, myself, I didn't have like the conventional journey into tech. I don't have a tech background as well. So for me, I got into tech through a scholarship called Google Africa Developer Scholarship, which was an online program where you'd get to learn some of the skills, but it was very self-paced, self-learning and all that. So it was actually very hard to get into it. But getting mentors along the way, people who have gone before me, was actually a very vital part. And also, especially the peer mentorship that came along with meeting some of these people in the different communities. I would encourage you to join different communities, because that's where you'll get people who'll actually not only hold your hand from their previous experiences, but also people same challenges that you are. I remember, I'm not sure if Jack remembers this, but the first time we wanted to apply for speaking sessions outside the, speaking sessions in general, I remember we challenged each other and we're like, we're going to do it this year and we're going to make sure we go abroad and we're going to make this talks. And at that time, we had no experience in doing this, and we're just basically challenging each other. And when we started it very scared, but now look where we are right now. So it's in the small things that you're doing here, the growth mindset, the communities that you're surrounding yourself with, that will enable you to actually make that progress in the field. And it also even goes beyond tech. I think in anything in life, that growth mindset has to be there. Your community has to be top notch. It's people who are actually challenging you in a positive way and going beyond even what you think you're capable of doing, and actually telling you, you can actually do this, and I think you're going to do amazing. So yeah, I'm gonna keep mine short because I feel like I already covered most of those things in my previous session, but that was my journey, and I think you're also very capable of doing it and growing in the field.
Yeah, thank you so much. So thank you, Chelagat, Jackie, Lucy, Philomena, for that introduction. I think now our audience already get to understand your background, how you got into this space, and I think I'll just start off with you, Philomena, just according to just what you've completed, saying how you joined tech as per a scholarship. So you are currently an AI engineer, and I know right now everyone is AI in every single thing that we do. People are trying to see how they can integrate AI. So would you say, especially for someone who is new into this space, is there like a realistic roadmap that one can have and say, my end goal is to be an AI engineer? So could you like paint a picture of how they could go about it to say, and to in the next 2-3 years, you can say that they are now an AI engineer? How would you now picture that? You're on mute.
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
So first of all, no journey will look similar to the other. Everybody has their own path. Sometimes I'm usually hesitant in sharing my own journey because I feel like people want it so that they can be able to replicate each and every step, which is not usually realistic, because I also had the same mindset when I was getting into the field. I always kept asking people, how long did you take to get where you are? Because in my mind, I was mapping out like how long it's going to take. But shock on you, it's going to take you very different, whether it can be shorter, it can be longer, it's not going to be the same. But then the general concept is about the mindset that you actually have around some of these things and the spaces that you surround yourself, the spaces and environments you have around you. So I would say start with the basics. Start with you can even do this very short free courses. You don't have to you know um you don't have to go for these very expensive paid courses. If you have the ability to, it's better because you're gonna get a structured way of learning. But if you do not, you can start with these free courses, learn the basics. And as you're learning these basics, make sure you're also implementing into very small projects as you go along the way. Because what I noticed when I was starting out in the field is I got into this loop of tutorials where I was doing multiple tutorials and not actually building anything. And at the end of the day, if you're not building, you're not learning. You need to actually build some of these things, put them out there, get some constructive criticism, and then you can be able to build from that. So when you're starting with these basic skills in Python, you learn things like NumPy, Seaborn, etc. Then now you can move into now, after you learn how to understand data set, interpret data sets, because the thing is with machine learning and AI, it's garbage in, garbage out. You need to learn how to understand your data so that you're able to clean your data and be able to use it to train your models. Then now you're going to training different models. It's not going to be the same models for every problem. And that's why you need to start with the basics so that you can know which model you apply. My Kiku is coming and apply to whichever problem. And then now you can move into some of these deeper things like neural networks, deep learning, computer vision, NLP, which now will come with time. But then you see, that's the journey of somebody who has the flexibility of time. There's somebody who will be given a project and they have to jump into that project and they're starting from NLP and they need to have a deliverable and have it ready. So you still, at the end of the day, you still have to go back and solidify some of these basics, which is what I also personally did. And it's one of the major reasons that I even went to pursue the master's degree, because I felt like I had a lot of gaps. As much as I already had done jobs and gotten different responsibilities and already done different projects, I felt like there was still some fundamental basics that I needed to understand. And that's the value of a structured way of learning. But even if you're not, you can still make progress and still go back and solidify some of those concepts as you go along the way. It's a very diverse field. There's so much information. There's no one size fits all for everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much, Philomena. You've heard it from her. Everyone's journey will be different. Even yours will be different. So I'll head on over to you, Lucy. You've mentioned that you're currently working at the data center and cloud services team, which is within a government setup. So maybe tell us what has impressed you most about how government manages critical digital infrastructure that our audience can also learn from.
All right. Yes. I'm currently working at the Data Center and Cloud Services Division in government, which is very new actually in government. I'm really sorry to say that. But in the private sector, it's not a new thing. So what has impressed me most is the maturity with which government is now approaching matters concerning digital infrastructure through coordinated approaches, combining policy frameworks, very strong ones, by the way. We are at a phase where there are a lot of policies which are coming up. Dedicated institutions, we have ICT authorities which have been there for quite some time and they've really helped government. The government is also currently investing in data centers. Over time, they've invested in fiber networks and robust cybersecurity systems. So there's a clear shift right now towards cloud adoption, and we are really happy because we are also collaborating with the multi-stakeholder collaboration. So we have, like for us, we have a multi-agency cloud adoption committee that is really helping. As you can imagine, we have people from the private sector who are really helping us, and apparently there are also partnerships with other countries. And this is also ensuring that infrastructure is not only secure and resilient, but is also scalable and able to support the country's digital economy. And I can assure you what is happening right now. When things have been put in place, we are going to get to Singapore. Thank you.
Okay, quite interesting for sure. Now you can be assured the government is also working very hard, and the digital infrastructure is in place for sure. So I'll head over to you, Pauline. We've heard from an AI engineer, and from your end, you are a machine learning engineer. So maybe could you help us, just in very simple terms, help us understand, what's the difference between an AI engineer and a machine learning engineer? And in your case, what are some of the core technical and practical skills that aspiring machine learning engineers that we might have on the call should prioritize so that they can be relevant and also impactful?
Thank you, Claire. I'll answer the first one, then you'll remind me the second one. But on the difference between AI engineer and ML engineer, it's a very thin line. A lot of it overlaps and intersects, and it also depends on the particular organization that you're working in. But how I'd look at it is, if you're going to a restaurant, then you'd have the AI engineer. Let me use this analogy so that I drive the point home. So if you're in a restaurant, you'd have an AI engineer be like the executive chef. So Philomena will be our executive chef. She will say, this is the vision and the meals for the day or even for the week. This is what we're going to serve for this specific day or even the week. These are the meals in terms of the flavors. These are the specific menus that you're going to have. That's what the AI engineer does. And then now the MLOps, or in my case, MLOps, the operations that are required to produce the different things that Philomena has said. So here it will be all the kitchen operations and any other logistics that need to happen. So the ingredients will be, in our case, the data. Where is the data supposed to be sourced from? Where is it supposed to be stored? How is it supposed to pass through? And which system are they supposed to pass through? And where are they supposed eventually to be at the end? So that will be that. So Philomena will create and say this is the menu, and then I'd make sure that the menu reaches the clients at the end of the day. So in a real world scenario, how would this look like? So AI engineers would mainly be the ones doing the architecting of the system, the intelligence, how it should actually work. So they will decide on what systems need to be built, what are they supposed to do, and all that stuff. So let's say, for example, it's a HVAC system, something around air conditioning, or let's say it's a data center that needs, let's say, to have all the right things. So then they'll actually build the system and say, architect the system and say it should automatically turn on in the DC. The cooling system should automatically turn on when, let's say, temperatures get to a certain point, and they should adjust. And where this comes in is now creating the smart behaviors and all the user experiences that behind the scenes work seamlessly. And then now for ML engineers and ML ops, then they'd come in and do the structural engineering bit and the operations. So operations is just moving from what needs to be done to it actually working and being in the system. So in the DC, it will be like all the pipelines that need to be put in place. If it's all the electricals, the plumbing, if it's a water cooling system, for example, all that needs to be put in place. So it's not that AI engineers and ML engineers work in isolation. It's a lot of collaboration. And in some cases, you'll even find data scientists being part of the process as well, in creating these solutions. So at the end of the day, a certain solution will have different crafts within it. You'll have the AI engineers, ML engineers, data scientists, even data engineers as well. So that's what adds. Engineer will design the behavior, how something should work, and then the MLE will actually build and scale the actual machinery of making the behavior that the AI engineer has said possible in the real world scenario. Yeah. Clara, please remind me the second question because nimesahau.
No, it was just in line to what you do as an ML ops you just mentioned. So what are the key or the core technical or practical skills that aspiring machine learning engineers should prioritize so that they can be relevant?
I cannot stress how much important making sure you understand the basics and your data is, because everything that you will build will definitely be based on data. So think of it as if you're building a house. The architect has said this is a house, but then you skip, when you're actually building the actual house, you miss out on creating a very good, proper foundation. Making sure you have your data fundamentals in place, it's really, really important. Like, make sure you have that because everything else that you learn will be based off on that. And then for me, based off on the need to constantly learn, which Jackie was saying, you need to be consistent. The other thing for MLOps is because I had a background in data, I had to learn a lot of software and DevOps, especially DevOps, because that's where now the operationalizing of all these systems that are being built comes in place. So even as you're working your way through understanding the basics of data, then you move to making sure that you have all your ML concepts in place. And at least make sure the basics first. Please make sure all the basics first. If it means going back to looking at what's the difference between supervised learning and unsupervised, please go back and do that. Until now, the basics and the foundation are well in place, and then now you can build on top of that. So the next thing, once you have those in place, I'd say figure out how you can either, depending on what you need to work on. Because currently for me, it's a lot of ops. The ops in ML ops, that's where it's coming in. So I've had also as well to dig deeper and learn a lot about DevOps. But if I hadn't made sure that my foundation in data was good, I'd be struggling right now when it comes to operationalizing all these systems. But still emphasizing on what Philomena was saying, it's also very contextualized to what you need to do in your current role right now, because you'd find organization A will have different expectations of the MLEs or MLOps, and organization B will have a different expectation. So always make sure, even though you're learning all these things, make sure it's contextualized to what you need to either learn right now, work on right now. And then with time, all these things will eventually form and paint a picture of all the skills that you have. So there's no single starting point. It's very contextualized to what you need to do. Back to you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, Chelagat, for that. I think that really helps demystify ML, AI, and how they actually intersect. And now I'll move on to our software engineer, Jackie. So Jackie, with your over 5 years of experience, in your case, what technical and problem-solving skills should upcoming developers prioritize so that they can remain competitive and also very effective in this very fast evolving tech landscape that we have?
Yeah, thanks for the question. And to be honest, I feel like Pauline and Philo have already touched on this because one thing I'd let you know is in software engineering, regardless of whichever language you're choosing, because there are a myriad of languages, you can go whichever based on the needs that you want or the products that you're building. So regardless of whatever stack you're going to use, the fundamentals will always remain the same. So you have to have a good grasp on your fundamentals. Kindly check in on your, I know we do not like this subject, but data structures and algorithms, you need to go and farm those up. And sometimes there's that whole notion of it might just be the key to open the door and you might not use it again ever, but they are used. There's ways in which you use them might not be as strenuous as when you're doing the 6 rounds of interviews, but they come into play. Learn your APIs, learn your state management. So the fundamentals will cut across whichever language or stack that you're going to be choosing. As for soft skills, problem solving is a major one, especially in software engineering, because you're not building products for yourself. You're building products that are going to be solving problems for your users. So you need to really understand the problem that you're trying to solve so that you can build a product that is going to be successful. And in here also comes communication skills, because you're going to be communicating the problem that you're solving to maybe not so techy stakeholders or your users as well. So you need to be able to relay this information that they can be able to process. So a lot of times people usually like underestimate the value of soft skills when it comes to software engineering, but soft skills have taken people further than some who have more technical skills, because how you converse and how you convey can open more doors to having more partnerships and more opportunities to build that product. Once you have your problem solving skills and your fundamentals, you need to know how to build that product. So are you building in public? I always emphasize on building in public. If it's small projects where you can be able to now hone into your technical skills and also your softer skills when it comes to communicating the product that you've built, whether it is to an audience through speaking engagements or through technical articles, but always build. When you build using the stack that you have, you always increase your skills in that particular field. And when I say teaching and writing, that's something that has really worked for me, because when I teach something or when I write about something, I feel like I have learned it twice. To learn something in order to enable someone else to be able to learn it, I think that's something that will really emphasize your grasp on the particular technical topic. So, and overall, also having that growth mindset. Continue learning, continue building. It's a continuous process. I will not emphasize this enough. You need to be consistent and you need to be disciplined as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I think that's quite clear. And thank you for bringing out also the aspect of soft skills, which is something very key that sometimes techies are known not to be too social, or, oh no, I'm behind the screen. So that is a very good point. Along the way, our speaker joined us, Nancy, our cybersecurity specialist. So I'll have her also introduce herself and also help us answer the first question. So Nancy, as you're doing your intro, just tell us who you are and your field of expertise. Please help us answer from your experience, what gaps still exist between what is taught in training institutions, so be it the Immobilis and other training institutions, and what industry actually expects from young cybersecurity professionals. Karibu sana, Nancy.
Hi, Claire.
Hi, Nancy. Go ahead.
So sorry, I think I have to ask you to please repeat that. I'm handling some crisis, so I think I
Yes.
missed your question.
Okay, sorry about that. I think I just wanted to, first of all, you can just do your introduction. Tell us who you are
Okay.
and your field of expertise. And after that, your first question was around, from your experience, what gaps still exist between what is taught in training institutions and what the industry actually expects from cybersecurity professionals?
Okay. First of all, I think I'll first send my apologies. Sorry for joining this a bit late. Security has things every single time. You can wake up one quiet morning and then it's haywire. So my name is Nancy Muriithi. I am a cybersecurity engineer. What I do, well, I do a lot, but have majored in cybersecurity for the past 4 or 5 years now. I'm also the programs lead for Shilhaks Kenya, which is a community for women in cybersecurity in Kenya. Basically, I think I'm very passionate about bridging that gap because part of the programs that we run at Shilhaks Kenya, we do have campus programs, we have high school programs, and we also have kids online protection training because gone are the days where you are 8 years old and you have no access to the internet. That has changed. So much has shifted. So we also do trainings for teenagers and their parents on how, as a parent, how do you keep your child safe online? And as a teenager, how do you make sure you're navigating the digital space in a safe way? So to your question about what's the gap that exists between training and someone joining the workforce. So a number of things come to mind, but I think it's a line people will use so many times. Campus, you're only taught theory, so you shouldn't focus on the theory part of security. Make sure that you're gaining the skills. So I would support that statement partly because from what we are seeing in training institutions, yeah, the thing about cybersecurity, it's shifting every single day. Every single day, there's something new you're dealing with. And it's a field that requires you to constantly learn, to constantly be able to improve your skills, even as a defender, even as a cybersecurity engineer, helping organizations be safe. So I think one challenge I would say it's something that I've noticed as we are doing trainings, as I do also part-time trainings in universities, is one outdated material. For example, how often do our universities update their content, right? So it's taught from a very broad, contextual place, but when you get to the field, you realize on ground things are different. You have to, it's not just knowing the theory part of it, but knowing how you apply it. So in most training institutions, you'll get to understand the context, understand the theory part, understand the concept, yeah? But the context is lacking. So someone knows what a vulnerability is, but they don't know how to what actually differentiates a vulnerability from a breach, from an incident. Yeah, that's just giving just a broad example. I think something else, and I think it doesn't help that I have a hoodie today. This notion people have that hackers, they must have a hoodie, a black hoodie. It's a coincidence. I promise. It's a coincidence. But something else is cybersecurity has been spoken so much from a technical place, and there are areas in cybersecurity that are not technical, which are right now we have so many opportunities around them. So someone thinks to be in cybersecurity, I need to be able to open a terminal. I need to run these crazy commands. I need to have my screen, doing all these scripts running and all that. there is an area for cybersecurity in that. But then you see areas like GRC, governance, risk, and compliance, which is very, very important because, the fun fact in the workplace, you'd think the technical guy is the most, has more weight, yeah, than any other person in the organization. But in the workforce, the people who make decisions are not technical people. So we also see that gap where soft skills are not encouraged as much as the technical skills, in security. So how do you can have the best tools, have the best skills, but how do you communicate those vulnerabilities, those issues to that a room of a board of the directors? They don't need the technical jargon. They just need to know, have we been hacked? Have we lost money? Have we lost data? It ends at that. So yeah, let me stop there. I think I can really, really talk.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. Nancy, we truly appreciate that. Even as we go along, just to inform our audience, please feel free to share your questions on the Q&A because we're about to get into the Q&A. In case you have any question, either to a specific speaker or to just general, please let us know. So I'll just do one last round of questions to our speakers so that I can also give a chance to our audience to ask their questions. I think I'll let Lucy handle this one. You've had quite a number of years of experience, and you've also, as a mentor, as a coach, as a mediator, you've participated in a lot of mentorship programs. So maybe just to ask you, how has this influenced your journey, and probably why should other women, seek out similar opportunities? And then I want you to tie into that, because you're also in cloud services, maybe share some practical skills that if someone wants to join the cloud space, give a pathway or some practical skills that they should focus on. So that two-part question.
Thank you, Claire. So yes, I've been in the mentorship space for quite some time. And for me, I'm very passionate about it. And it has played a very significant role in my life. I love interacting with young people and women. And when we talk about mentorship, it just means that you're helping people to walk the journey that you've already walked. So providing guidance, perspective. Like today morning, I had an experience with a young lady who comes around, Gen Z, by the way, who comes around selling snacks for us so that we can be able to have tea, and I had to engage a bit and find out, other than selling this snacks, what else do you do? I have a degree. What are you doing with this degree? Apparently, she just put it aside when she's trying to look for money. And I'm like, no, you cannot do that. You need to look for something you can do, maybe go into a space where you can volunteer. Because right now, when you go and look for a job, they'll be asking you for experience, yet you've not had an opportunity to go and work. But if you go somewhere and you're volunteering, or you go back to the institution where you are interning and tell them to give you an opportunity where you can volunteer, then you'll be able to create the number of years maybe of experience. Of course, I'd not want somebody to volunteer for 5 years. You look for a job opportunity and you've been asked for experience for 5 years. So for women, especially, mentorship creates a support system. And that is what I've done, helping young people navigate in career decisions and also to build confidence. It's not just about technical growth, it's about personal and professional development. You're talking to somebody and helping them to build themselves such that when they get into the job market, they are able to get a job very quickly. I also follow up on my mentoring. Under the PDTP program, I've been able to mentor very many young people, both boys and girls. And I encourage them to actively look out for opportunities within government and outside. Of course, recently the government opened up a lot of opportunities in the ICT space, and just encouraging people to be able to apply. Make sure you apply as actively as possible, because there's nothing wrong if somebody turns down your application. But the fact that you tried was something. Not giving it any effort is now your undoing, because the best thing you would do is, and I remember my dad used to encourage me, just send out those applications and wait for whatever feedback you will get. So I run a mentorship program where, or how do I put it? I've met very many young people in the ICT space. And those who are willing, I started a program where I help them on mentorship and also networking among themselves. Because this is what happens. You're in the ICT space, you're in AI, somebody else is in a different field, and you don't know that these opportunities that you keep seeing, which don't concern you, can be of help to somebody else. So I created a space where I give career guidance and I share available opportunities. And the young people also share available opportunities within that platform. And I've noticed that now it has become like a family, where I just let them do their thing, and I'm just there to give guidance. So beyond the formal roles, I also encourage you to take up volunteering, like I said, internship, and participate in digital skills programs like what we have in Immobilis, and the spaces that the government has created also, where we have Ajira, we have Gitume, and all that. I encourage them to go into these places. Like recently somebody told me they're very green in ICT and they don't know what to do. I asked them, where do you live? Because I know the government has an opportunity in every CDF establishment where digital skills are being trained for free, 2 hours a day, every single day. Yes. So what was the second question? Like, Pauline, I need to be respected.
No worries. I am here to remind you. So it was just now for those young professionals who would like to pursue the cloud space, so cloud services. So are there any maybe practical skills that you would advise them, or any, like, if there's like a path? I know paths are different, but how would you encourage them to join the cloud services space?
Okay. If I could start with mine was just very basic. I got into the government and I learned IT. Yeah. Then from there, I discovered that I needed to advance, and I advanced my education as far as IT is concerned. For young people interested in this space, I'd highlight 3 key areas. First, technical foundation, understanding networking systems, cloud platforms is very essential. Then practical exposure, like I was just saying, hands-on experience through like Gitume, those Gitume labs. You have an opportunity where you live. There's a constituency office. Just go and find out what's happening over there, and you get it for free, 2 hours per day. Then internship. You get an opportunity. You've gone for internship. You've done internship for a whole year. Where are you rushing to? Where are you going? I mean, you don't have a job yet. Tender an application right there when you know that your internship period is about to end, and request for volunteership. You are able to volunteer, stay there, volunteer, get more skills, as you wait to get a job. And of course, certification. As long as you're in IT, you need a certification. You want to get into cloud, there are so many institutions that offer certifications in cloud. We have ISC, whatever you can get out there, do it. And we also have a lot of platforms like one of the speakers said earlier, where you're able to get knowledge, in this field. And like we were told, don't just go into the net haphazardly. Of course, you have to be guided. Get someone who can mentor you so that you build your career. Yeah. Then, of course, we've been told about soft skills, and we cannot get enough of soft skills. Problem solving, communication, adaptability. These are critical. Yeah, they're very critical. There's nothing we can do without soft skills. We need to know how to make good decisions, because you get into positions in the office, you're not able to make even quick decisions, and that should not be good. So let's build our soft skills, and also encourage learning around cybersecurity and data management, because these are becoming very important, even in the cloud environment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Lucy, for that. I think that was quite clear. To you, Pauline, I can see at least we have two questions now. One is directed to Philomena, another one to Nancy, so I'll be able to ask that as well. So to you, Pauline, in your case, there was a bit of transition from physiotherapy to machine learning. So maybe was there any challenge during this shift, and how did this shift help you? So the question is around this shift from physiotherapy to machine learning, which is quite unique. Are there any challenges you might have faced, not necessarily because of this shift, or maybe gender bias? Oh, there are few women in tech. So maybe explain to us if there are any also gender bias you have experienced throughout your journey, maybe since you transitioned to physiotherapy to tech as a whole. Yeah.
Thank you, Claire. So, I think for me it wasn't planned, which is the same thing I think Philomena was also leaning towards. You might not know how things will turn out. So for me, it was mainly a matter of trying to figure out, when I was starting off, trying to figure out how can I leverage what I know in healthcare and then bring a little bit of data. Like initially, that is how my mind thought about it. So I was like, let me just go in, learn a little bit of data science and data analysis, and then I'll figure out how to use those skills and aspects in healthcare. But then it ended up becoming the opposite in terms of the more I started learning and digging deep into the data space, which Jackie was saying, every day you need to consistently learn something. And being in tech, you'll just find yourself, you need to add one more thing in terms of, I've already done the basics. What's the next thing that I need to learn to be better at my job, to build something better, all that stuff. So as I was transitioning, I'll definitely have to be honest. The hardest part for me was the first time I saw code. And believe you me, it was SQL code. Right now, if I look at it, I'm like, what was so difficult about it? But then, that's like 6 years ago, it seemed such a huge it seemed like such a huge thing. But then at that point in time, I needed to just be comfortable with going into the unknown and quote unquote exploring. Because the class I was in, it was with people who had done computer science, they had done BBIT, they had a lot of this knowledge, statistics, finance. Mimi nakuja hapa, I've just done physiotherapy. There is no even a single unit here, statistics, I don't know what that you've covered. So that was the hardest part for me. Good thing is the COVID-19 period, 2020, 2021, it gave me time to just sit, focus, and do nothing else. That's the only thing I was doing for a whole year. Nothing else. So just digging into code, figuring it out, and there is no way other than just getting your hands dirty, being in the trenches and getting to learn. And I think the beauty by then is a lot of the AI tools had not yet been mature. So it was a lot of Stack Overflow, learning how to Google, learning how to research, which, if you ask me, is a good thing. I usually say 2020 for me was a blessing in disguise. I know for a lot of people it was a hard time as well. But it forced me to do a lot of uncomfortable things, which, if you look at it, in tech, you'll always be put in uncomfortable situations, or it's a new project you've not handled before, which Now, a lot of the projects I'm handling, they are novel in nature, and it's just diving head in fast. And I'm so appreciative of doing this then, because by that time, just trying to figure technology that I'm seeing. And then two, I had to lean on people, which forced me to work on my soft skills a lot. And it was online. So for the whole year, some of my classmates, up until today, sijawahi waona physically. Like we just talk on phone, but we've never met physically. So both my soft skills and technical skills and my ability to just be given a problem and figure out how you'd move the needle, research and get it done. That was the biggest thing I had to do. And it doesn't just need to be from healthcare, because what I'm seeing right now is a lot of industries and sectors need technology to be an enabler for them, even if it's logistics, transport, business, whichever, agriculture, the way Philomena was mentioning. All these things require data and technology to come in on board. So I usually encourage people, don't feel like where you're at because you don't have a technical background or you didn't start from that, then the door is locked out for you. If anything, your background is not like a liability in a sense. It's is your superpower, because that is what I'm using right now as an MLOps engineer with the work I'm doing in healthcare. Because currently, I'm the only MLOps engineer who has healthcare background and knowledge. So it's a tall order, because then bring the two together and then we are building different products and different solutions at scale. And that's also very novel for me, and it's also exciting. But at the same time, it has its own set of challenges as well. Because a lot of people will be like, okay, because you come from healthcare, are we sure? Like, watakuangalia with an eye and they'll be like, are you sure you know what you're doing in terms of the technical aspects of it? But then here is where you'd have to be very firm and, okay, in a professional way, put your foot down in some cases and in some instances because you actually know what you're doing. And here's where you'd come in and actually showcase your work. Let your work also speak for itself, which is not a very good thing, because most of the time, male counterparts most of the time will not have to be put in positions where they have to what's it called? They have to show their work to prove certain competencies as well. So the other thing is also to know the space that you're in, the challenges that are unique to you as a lady, being in tech and being in the ICT space, and also trying to demystify it slowly, one at a time. And also at the same time, just continuously learn and grow, because that's the only way you'll also grow your confidence and your technical capabilities. How I usually relate to it is if you're working out, you wouldn't start to go to the gym when you have that hot body that you're looking for. You just start where you're at, and then in the process, you'll end up having the hot body that you're looking for. So yeah, that's it from me, Claire.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that illustration and how you've been able to use physiotherapy even now in healthcare, which is a really, really great plus. So before I move on to Philomena, there's this one question I had for you, Jackie, being that you are actively building with Flutter. So maybe I know there are some Android developers here, so maybe it would be really insightful for you to share what makes maybe Flutter a powerful tool for mobile development, and what should developers focus on so that they're able to build high quality and production ready apps.
Yeah, thanks for that. So when it comes to talking about stacks, that's a fight that can go on for the rest of the day. So there's different camps, but each stack is for different people. So different strokes for different folks. But for me, I think Flutter is very powerful because it's not mobile based. We're not looking at just mobile. So Flutter will allow you to build the high quality applications that are cross-platform applications. So you think about one code base and multiple platforms. So with the same code base, you can deploy to mobile, which is both Android and iOS. You can also deploy to web, desktop, Windows, desktop, that is Windows, Linux, macOS. So all this while still maintaining good performance and UI. I'm really keen on user experience and user interface. So I think Flutter really comes in and does that well for me. However, as just like I said before, it's not about the stack or the tool that you're using or the framework, because frameworks do come and go. But if you want to build something that is production ready, as you've asked, or something that is quality, you need to focus on the fundamentals and also look at things like architecture. So have in mind clean architecture, which will allow you to structure your code to make it more scalable and more maintainable. Think about the performance and user experience, like I've mentioned as well. So most of your users will not care to know whether you used Kotlin or whether you used Flutter or JavaScript. What they care about is how efficient is that user experience? Smooth UI, think about micro interactions, handling state, optimizing your rebuilds, making your application fast and making it usable. So also state management. These are tools that you can look into that are based on the type of product that you're building and the number of users that you're going to be serving. So think about things like Provider, Riverpod, and others to manage the state of your application to ensure that it's stable. And also your error handling, how do you handle that? And offline support. So with things like the applications you build in our organization, they're being used in regions which do not have, quite remote regions where the internet is a little bit shaky and they might not have Wi-Fi. So something that is of key importance is not even the stack, it's how do the users use the application offline. So those are things that you can add into your application that can enable the users to have a very nice, enjoyable experience. So the stacks, your Flutter will just give you the tools, but engineering is a discipline that you have to look into the key components so that you can be able to build a successful production-ready application.
Yeah, thanks so much for that. That was very articulate and very direct. Thank you so much for that. Moving on to our second last speaker, Philomena. There's one question here for you from one of our participants. So this question goes to Philomena. What kind of AI problems are companies actually paying to solve right now? So maybe you can tell us that and then also give us your parting shot as we wind up with everyone else. So thank you.
I think that's a very interesting question because I wouldn't say there's specific problems that companies are tackling. I know there's generally things that like predictive analysis and intelligence that companies are going towards because they want to be able to predict some of the income, sales, all these things. But some of these problems are very specific to the company that you're joining. And I can't say there's any company that does not need AI. Most companies are looking for ways to integrate AI into their systems. And that's why during my session, I said that AI is a field where you need a lot of the soft skills in that you'll be working across diverse teams because you'll never have the domain knowledge across all the fields because every company you join has a unique problem that they're trying to solve and you'll have to tailor your skills to be able to solve that problem. So it's not specific things that companies are doing. There's general things like predictive analysis, but most of these problems are very specific to the companies that you would ideally want to join. So if you have a specific passion towards something, I'd say apply to companies that fit into that. But otherwise, AI, like your skills are very transferable in any data AI field. So you should be able to apply in any company for as long as the opportunity exists. Yeah. Oh, and my parting shot. It's the same parting shot that I had during the session. Every expert was once a beginner. Don't sell yourself short. You can start and you can be able to get to the lengths to which you push yourself. Surround yourself with the right people, the right community. See the value in peer mentorship. There's always something you can be able to improve. Don't look at imposter syndrome as a bad thing. Look at it as a way that's challenging you to fill in your knowledge gap and improve on your skills, because as you continue to do some of these things is when you continue to gain the confidence to be able to sit in some of those rooms. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I think that is very articulate and good. Thank you so much. Before you drop off, I think there's just one thing we wanted to do with all our speakers present. There was a question that we had asked. I've just launched the poll. If I had an AI bestie, what I would use it to. So these are some of the answers guys had during the tech trivia. So we want to see from this what people will say just before we wind up. And then Philomena, you can advise us. Even Chelagat and our speakers here, from what they're saying, which really is the best option? This is just purely what guys were saying on the chat. So let's do that as a car. Get money. Get money is currently really thriving. We are at 70% at Get Money. Even Help Me Tailor job search is at like 21%, guys. Money, 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 money. So just a few more minutes and then I'll end it so that you guys can see. Okay. Nice. Okay. Okay, at least we only have one for scam. Okay. So let me end the poll in the next 3, 2, 1. I'm sorry, Sandra, your answer wasn't. So right now, let me just share this result so that you can see it. Let me end the poll and then share the results. So you guys are saying get money is number one. Before anything else, we need to get money. Are we agreeing with this, speakers? We are saying get money is how we will use AI. And then after that, we can look at how we can tailor our job search and applications. Okay, so clearly our money is the big winner for this. And I hope now, Wendy, you've gotten your answer. Get money. Okay, so our last question, and before we do the parting shot for all our speakers, was around certifications. Nancy, are you in a position to answer this? There was a question around certifications.
Yes, I'm here, Claire.
Okay, great. So there's a question around certifications, and it's also similar to what we had. So this question goes to Nancy. I would like to know, as a cybersecurity analyst, what are some of the additional certificates one is required to have when applying for jobs?
Okay. Wow. I think that's a very good question, and I'll have a very honest answer. One, when you talk about certifications, there are quite a number, and there's no way for you to exhaust all of them that the industry offers. One thing about certifications is first, most of them are expensive. Secondly, the certifications more kind of help you get through the door, right? When you're applying for jobs, it's what the HR most times the first step that your CV goes through, either an ATS system or a HR, right? For the HR, even if you have added all these other skills that you have in security, but you don't have a certain certification, let's say like CISSP, for them, you're not fit for the job, right? So certifications kind of just help you get through the door. However, what I would say is beyond the certifications, make sure you get the skills. Let me explain. So there are certifications that are offered by platforms like Allison. You might get on LinkedIn, find a certification that is free. And I think most people associate a free certification with it not being valuable. It all depends with how you decide to sell it. As a woman in tech, you'll have to learn this as a skill, learning how to sell yourself. Yeah. Wait, that sounds odd. But knowing how to actually put the skills that you have, that when people look at you, they don't see the gender first. right? They're able to see what exactly the value that you bring in through the door. So when it comes to certifications, I'm not able to tell you do certification A, don't do certification B, because it depends with your path, what exactly you want to focus on. For example, I can tell you to go and do OSCP, which is a red teaming, more offensive kind of certification, but maybe your interest is in the defending part of it. You're not in the offensive part of it. So, my advice would be make use of the opportunities that maybe you have access to at the moment. And I'm saying this as someone who's both certified and someone who didn't have the money at first to get certified. I think let me just end it there because the people who tell you get CISSP is what you need to get through a door. But then that certification is almost 150K. It's not something you can just put out of your pockets and then just make the payment. But if the person who asked needs more guidance, I would maybe request they reach out to me, maybe on LinkedIn or something, so that I can be able to hear what it is they want to do, where they are currently, and yeah, I'll be able to advise them. So start with this, start with this. But general advice, just make use of what you have access to. Make sure you get the skills. Don't just have a certification and you don't have the skills that prove you actually earned that certification. That's what keeps you. That a cert might get you through the door, but the skills, make sure you stay there. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much for that. I think we have been able to tackle most of the questions. And I thank the speakers as well for being able to answer the questions on the chat. I think Lucy has been able to answer, Chelagat as well. So thank you so much for that. What I can do is now we can have now the parting shot from our remaining speakers. I don't know if there's anything specific that I've missed out on the chat in terms of a question. Let me see. So, Nancy, as you're doing your parting shots, I think you've also been able to answer this slightly. So we'll have Nancy, then Lucy, then Jackie, then Chelagat do the parting shot. I'll just try and see if there's any question that has not been answered, and you can do that. So Nancy, as you're doing your parting shot, maybe you can just tackle this. So hello, everyone. My question is, so I'm interested in SWE and cybersec. Are there any roles in tech that require one to know the two disciplines? And what should I learn? Or should I stick to one thing? Was this answered? Oh, this was answered. So thank you. Thank you, Chelagat, for answering that. So maybe Nancy, you can just have your parting shot and then we'll go to Lucy, then Jackie, then Chelagat.
Okay. Thank you for having me, and thank you for this opportunity. I think what I would just a quick something that I would mention regarding that question around can you do software engineering and cybersec together? It's not recommended. However, you can move from software engineering and become a cybersecurity engineer. So I hope that answers the question. My parting shot is I would love to say that don't wait until you feel ready. Do it and just do it afraid. You'll walk into spaces, from experience, you'll walk into spaces where, the first look is just because you're a lady and you're in a very technical space, and their eyebrows are already raised. But do it and do it afraid. Believe in yourself. If someone can do it, you can also do it. Yeah.
Thank you very, very much. I think also for our speakers, I know some of our audience here have requested for mentorship, or maybe they have a question they'd like to ask you personally. So in case if there are any details, if there's a LinkedIn handle or a Gmail address you would prefer for our audience to reach you, please just drop it on the chat so that those who can will be able to, we'll be able to reach out to you personally, and also we'll be doing like just an email to those who attended. They can reach out to you personally. So if it's an email address or a LinkedIn handle that you prefer, please, our speakers, do drop it on the chat. Okay, so we can have Lucy give your parting shots.
For me, I'd say thank you for this opportunity that you've given me to interact with girls in ICT on this very special day. And my parting shot, you need to believe that you belong in this ICT space, and it's not limited to gender. Because for me, I've had very big challenges, but I thank God that I stayed put. I didn't run to communication or this, I just didn't run away from the ICT space. Then focus on building a very strong foundation. Your skills, you've had what we've been told by every other speaker, and stay curious because technology is always evolving. Don't just sit in one space and be very comfortable. Make sure that you know what's happening also in other spaces so that when you get into those boardrooms, you're able to speak. So you can imagine that you're given an opportunity, you become like a head of or a manager in IT. They expect you to be all round so that you can be able to speak, and say what's happening in those fields. Then finally, for me, which is very, very
Lucy, we lost you. Or is it just me? Did we lose Lucy? We can't hear audio. Lucy, we can't hear your audio.
Did I break?
Yeah, now you're good. Yeah, you can. You are on your last statement, finally.
Am I audible? What happened? Did I break? Sorry.
Yeah, we couldn't hear your audio, but now you're good. You can now continue.
Oh, I don't know where you lost me at, but I was just saying that don't be afraid when you're in this space. As an ICT person, especially when you get into the space for the first time, you get intimidated. A lot of things may happen. You go into a place and you find you're the only lady in the ICT division or department. Of course, you said you have to build your confidence. Be very curious because the ICT field is very dynamic, it keeps changing. And I also said you may get an opportunity where you then become an IT manager. So what happens? You need to be all round. You need to be informed of what's happening in the various ICT spaces so that you can be able to speak boldly. Then I said speak, mentors, and network. Network with other people in this space. And you will be able to grow faster when you.
Thank you so much, Lucy. We truly, truly appreciate, and we definitely appreciate your time. We can have Jackie, then Pauline. In the meantime, please, our Joy, our Vice Chairperson, prepare your vote of thanks, and then we'll have our final picture with everyone so that we can culminate our webinar. So, Jackie?
Okay, great. Parting shot from my end is something that I've mentioned. I'll always emphasize on consistency and discipline because this will outweigh talent in the long term. If you're consistently building, learning, you will always be able to build these skills. And also be consistent in failing as well. Do not think failure is the end of the journey. When you fail, the more you keep failing, you're not the same person you were in your last failure. If we had a time for all of us to talk about our failures, I think this would be a longer meeting than even talking about our successes or the things that we've been able to achieve. So when you fail, it's not a rejection. So always, when you think about applying for a job and you count yourself out even before you apply the job, just think that if you don't apply and if you apply and get rejected, both ways you do not have the job. But the only way you will get the job is if you applied, right? So don't wait until you're fully ready. Most of the time, you probably will never be. The technology is really moving fast, but you need to start from where you are, build consistency, and then your confidence will catch up to your actions. So move as if you have already achieved the things that you have achieved. And a mantra that I live by is what is meant for me. So use this in your own. What is meant for me will not pass me. If it has passed you, it was not yours. So something that is meant for you will always find you, but you have to be ready to receive the blessing that you will be receiving. So position yourself in a place where you'll be ready. You'll get the job when you apply for it. So if it was meant for you, it will pass you if you do not apply for it, right? So put yourself out there and take that space. Your ideas and your voices and your perspectives really matter in tech.
Thank you, beautifully put and kept. Thank you so much for that. Now we can have Pauline with her parting shots.
Thank you, Claire and everyone. A lot of what has been mentioned, it's true. What Nancy mentioned, that one definitely, please take it home. Like, it was the same thing I was to tell you guys as well. Like, start before you're ready. This, if you don't remember anything, the gym analogy, if you want that hot body, you have to start today. Don't be afraid to go into the gym because, oh, I feel my handles don't look the right way. You need to get in the gym and then work on the handles when you're in the gym. But for me, I'd say, from my unique perspective, everything that has been said and from where I sit is a lot of people usually have the stigma of, oh, I switched or I pivoted from one thing to the next. If anything, that is like your superpower. So if you are to think of it this way, in technology, in a tech space, which one is easier? Is it easier to get someone who's done who has done as the first either formal higher learning education in technology and then teach them a domain, so in this case teaching them medicine? Or is it easier to teach a doctor the technological tools that they need to take in place? So now use it in this case. Is it easier to teach someone who's in finance technology tools or take someone who has technology as their first foundation and teach them the basics of finance? You realize that one is easier. So whichever space that you're in, it can either be you want to do a whole career pivot or a whole shift, whichever it is that you want, go figure it out and then use that as your superpower. And then the next thing I'd say, there's a lot that is moving. It's so fast paced in tech. Figure out where you want to be and then work on that. Because one of the things that usually confuses a lot of people is jumping all over the place. One day you're doing a few weeks down the line or even months, something new pops up and you want to jump ship quickly before you've solidified what you're working on. So what Jackie was mentioning, consistency, but that comes only once you have fully understood yourself and figured out what you want. Because there are also people who are in technology and they were like, yeah, this is not for me, and they had to leave, and that's okay, and they're thriving where they're at. So the other parting shot for me is make sure you truly know who you are, what you want, and then from there work on all these things. Be consistent in becoming who you want to be. Yeah.
Thank you so much to our amazing speakers. I genuinely could not wish for a better bunch. It has really been interactive. Thank you even for bearing with us, even with the slight time delays. We truly appreciate you, Chelagat, Jackie, Lucy, Philomena, and Nancy. I'd like to invite Joy to do the closing remarks, and then we'll do a closing prayer. And then as we do that, I'll have a short survey up so that you can let us know, especially our participants, how was the webinar? What did you guys enjoy? What should we improve? So Joy, please give us the closing remarks. Then we'll have a picture. Wendy will do all of us. Let's have our cameras on like for a minute and then we'll do the closing prayers. So Joy, if you could kindly do the closing remarks as we prepare for the picture, that would be great.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of
Mobi Girls. I'd like to take a brief moment to thank everyone, to our moderator, Claire Karani. You've led us beautifully today, to our amazing panelists, Philomena, Nancy, Chelagat, Lucy, Pauline, and Jackie. Thank you for showing up, sharing your journeys, and proving that women belong to the forefront of tech. To the Mobi Girls Committee, thank you for working behind the scenes to ensure that the process is the event goes on, and this could not have happened without you. To every participant here today, thank you for showing up. Your presence is what makes this community alive. We hope that you leave today inspired. You've learned today. Yeah, thank you, and happy International Girls in ICT Day. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Joy. Thank you, Joy, for that. We truly appreciate. Think masaa zimefika za kuwasha camera. Now, if you are lying down on your bed, amka kidogo, straighten yourself up. Please, we need to see your beautiful faces, both the gents and the ladies. And a special shout out to the gents who are here. I know sometimes we do this and they say, oh, wanawake kila kitu ni women. Oh, you guys have another day. Kwanza, that complaint, I've had it so many times. So thank you so much for joining us. So kindly, Wendy, let us know when the picture is done. Do we need to smile more? What do we need to do? I encourage you all to have your cameras on just for a minute or less. And then we will be able to take the picture. So Wendy, please take us through this session.
Thank you, Claire. I need more of you. I can't take two people. It's literally just the panelists. Guys, I need more of you. We have to put this in history, that we were not here if we don't have evidence. So keep switching on your cameras kindly.
Yes. Okay. Just a minute. Yes.
Where are the smiles, Pauline? Pauline, I can't see your smile. Joy. Usichoke kusmile. That's our day. Just keep smiling.
I'm trying to multitask. I think now, Wendy, are you okay now with the smiles? One last one. Okay, one last one. Okay, so one last one in 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you all for that. I think we've been able to capture a lot of the images. Now, Joy, please, tumalizie kwa maombi. Tulianza na maombi, tumalize na maombi. But just to thank you to our ladies and gentlemen, you have been a very beautiful, wonderful, amazing bunch. We truly appreciate you. Joy, tumalizishe na maombi.
Okay, so let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you this day. We glorify you. We praise your name. We thank you for the members all the people who have come to attend this webinar with us this day, my God. I ask that you bless them, and I pray that they have been blessed by this meeting and that they have learned something and that they have added something. My Father, as we all depart from this meeting, may you be with us for the rest of this day. May your will be done upon our lives, and may you continue to help us grow. And in Jesus' name I pray, trusting and believing. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you very much for joining the webinar. We'll be sharing the survey to your emails so that you can let us know how the webinar was. And we truly appreciate you for your time. So you are free to leave. You are free to leave or stay behind. We'll just keep it open for those who want to interact and know each other. But the webinar is now officially closed. Thank you to everyone.